Hi Pisces, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Tarot, and today we're going to do your October predictions and advice. So sorry this took so long to make. I definitely underestimated the amount of energy that was going into all of these readings, and I just wanted to make sure that I was kind of feeling clear and ready to do this for you. So thank you so much for being here today though, and we're going to get right into it. So this is going to be the general energy of your October, and then we're going to pull cards for every area of your life, and then we'll move into advice. So the general energy of October for you, Pisces. So far we have the River in the middle, Thinker, Guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. We have the Age of Light. And we have Holly. So Pisces, at least from what I see from the cards here, I think I get the feeling that some of you guys are going to be experiencing definitely some situations in October where you're really going to be thinking about Pisces. In October, I definitely get the sense that some of you guys are going to be experiencing some highly emotionally charged situations. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but some of the impressions I'm getting off the bat is that you are going to be pretty in thought about a certain situation, something that affects you greatly. It might involve another person, it might be something you're trying to learn about yourself, but it definitely seems like you guys are going to be doing some soul searching, so to speak, in October. I think that some of you guys are likely to come across a situation that challenges you to think about not only what you want out of your life, but think about, sorry, to be more specific, I think that there's going to be a situation for many of you guys that prompts you to learn something important about yourself as a result of facing that situation. So first of all, with this River card, when I saw it, I definitely felt quite a big surge of energy when it comes to like emotional energy. So that was one thing. I also kept hearing the phrase like cry me a river, so to speak. So I definitely think that there's going to be a lot of emotional flow. Not necessarily a bad thing either. That might involve things like tears, but it might also involve just a lot of like energy flow throughout the body, which tends to happen when we are doing some soul work internally, when we are trying to learn things about ourselves or grow spiritually. I think that this is kind of a potential symptom of that going on. I think also the combination of this Thinker card, some of the visuals from this river, and the picture that this guilt is giving me also definitely gives me an impression that you guys are going to be quite in your heads about some things. Like, not only are you going to be feeling a little emotional, but you're definitely going to be quite in your head trying to figure out how you feel about a situation and how you want to come out on the other side. I think it's highly likely that some of it has to do with guilt, but on a positive note, I think it's important for you to go through this because of this. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Some of you guys may face a situation in which you feel guilt on a deep level, but then you start realizing that that guilt is uncalled for. For example, some of you guys might be people that automatically try to take responsibility for situations even if it's not your fault, or you easily blame yourself for situations that are not your fault. And I think that there might be an important soul lesson that some of you guys are learning this month in terms of only feeling guilt where it serves you, and not feeling guilt, or sorry, not just like not feeling guilt, but choosing to release guilt where it does not serve you nor anyone else around you guys. But for everyone on their path, this is a lesson that we all have to learn. I think that many of you guys in October are just going to be facing that. I definitely think that it is on a soul level something you guys are learning because of this Age of Light card. You've been training for this for lifetimes. I get the sense that for some of you this might be a lesson that you needed to heal in connection in your past life, and as a result, that's probably why it's affecting you so emotionally, because you're carrying not just the emotions of that you're feeling right now, so to speak, but you're also carrying some emotional baggage from way, way, way in the past, like before this lifetime, and that's something that's going to be healed now. So obviously in this kind of situation, there's tons and tons of processing that needs to be done, and I definitely think that's kind of why you guys are so in your heads and caught in kind of a vortex of thought right now, and why you guys are processing things so much. But when you come out on the other side, you're definitely going to grow so much, and I think that you guys are going to feel quite a big burden lifted off to you. So I'm actually happy for you, because even if it's not necessarily the funnest thing to do in the moment, this is like such an important experience for you to make a big leap in your growth and feel very unburdened about any guilt you've been carrying unnecessarily moving forward. So I'm also going to pull the message for this Holly card, as I've been doing for everyone else, to see if there's any messages there. Holly. Like the lightning forks of a holly branch, you stand at a fork in the road, a decision before you. Which path will lead you where you want to go, and which may lead you to an unexpected destination or lead you astray? You're running out of time to make your choice, but know that once you've chosen your path, there's no turning back. Make sure you've thought this through carefully. So I think that what this is meaning in particular is that as part of this processing and these lessons that you're learning this month, Pisces, I think that this card, especially with this bird and the imagery that's giving, is quite literally spirit and your inner self telling you that you need to make a serious decision on how you want to handle situations that bring you unnecessary guilt moving forward. For some of you, for example, you might have let others sort of make decisions for you, and you want to not do that anymore, but this is a time where you have to make a conscious decision, because setting intentions are so important to help us change things in our lives for the better. You have to make a specific intention by making a decision on how you want to handle these sorts of situations moving forward. So I definitely feel like this month is very much about doing some soul work that's going to align you for the better. But you are definitely not alone, Pisces, especially because this is a general reading. I think that this might be a larger thing that many of you guys are going through together. So we are going to go ahead and pull some cards for every area of your life as well, which might provide us some context. Spirit, what does my Pisces health look like this month? What does Pisces health look like in October? Pisces health in October. Okay, we have the Tower. I think that health is going to feel like a little bit of a roller coaster this month, Pisces, which definitely makes sense with everything going on, both physically and mentally. I think that it might be going like a little sporadically or up and down with many of you guys. I think that you guys might generally feel a little low energy, and that you might need some extra help from other things to support you. Specifically support your immune system is what I'm hearing for some of you guys. So this might be a good month to take some, like, say, vitamin C supplements, or to be particularly mindful of the things you're eating, or trying to go to bed early. That's sort of what I mean. But it seems like this month you guys might need a little bit more support in keeping your health top notch this month. And finally, for health, I think that there is also a small message to keep an eye and take some preventative measures for potentially getting sick, especially for those of you who are living in climates where it's already getting cold. Just take some extra measures, like make sure you bundle up, make sure that you are getting plenty of rest and that you're not staying outside for too long, that kind of thing. Spirit, what does my Pisces social life look like in October? Pisces social life in October. Ooh, we have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. I get the sense that some of you guys are going to have a few different choices to make in terms of your social life in October, Pisces. For example, I get the sense that some of you guys are going to be choosing between a few different options for social obligations or between different people that you might have promised to see. I think that at the same time, I get the sense that your social life might be the source that catalyzes some of this soul work that you're doing. So some of you guys might be kind of taking a pause on the social front and taking stock of what's happening, whether there is some minor drama happening or you're kind of just deciding if you want to hang out with the same people as often anymore, that kind of thing. But I definitely also feel like there is a level of like setting some new intentions in your social life this month. So what I meant about picking and choosing between different social obligations, I think that to take that a level further, you were thinking about who you want to spend your time with this month, Pisces, especially as you are doing some of this soul work of yours, because the people that we keep in our environment are very influential on that. And I think that some of it might also be directly tied with this guilt card, and you might be taking stock of who is serving you on that front and who is not. Spirit, what does creativity look like for my Pisces this month? We have the Seven of Cups and the Ace of Wands in reverse. Looks like creativity is going to be a little bit tricky this month, Pisces. I get the sense that you guys are trying to jumpstart some spark of inspiration or creativity, but it feels like it's a little forced, for example. And you guys are kind of just trying to figure out like what sources of inspiration might bring that back for you. That can look like a lot of different things, but to make it more clear, for example, if you're trying to kind of look in different places for inspiration, but you're not really sure where exactly it's going to spark, you might try taking, deciding if you want to go take a trip, or figuring out if you need to go make some new plans or talk to a certain person or watch a certain show, for example. I think you're going to be trying to identify different potential sources to bring that spark back in October. So it might be a little bit confusing as you're examining your options. I think alternatively, some of you guys might be pausing and trying to set some new intentions in terms of your current creative projects. For example, which ones to prioritize, as some of them might feel like they're not serving you anymore or you've outgrown them, so to speak. Maybe some of your projects haven't really come to fruition in the way that you've wanted them to, and now you're deciding if they're worth continuing or worth putting down for projects that you find more important right now. But it looks like there's going to be some level of evaluation and choices that you are making in creativity. Spirit, what do finances look like for my Pisces this month? Finances for my Pisces this month. We have the Queen of Swords and the King of Pentacles for finances. The Queen of Swords in reverse and the King of Pentacles upright. I think that in October, you were going to want to make some important financial decisions or some decisions in your practical matters in October, Pisces. But I feel like you're in a place where you feel too in your feelings, so to speak, to make the official plans or actions on that. For example, you might be pretty clear on what you want to do for your finances this month, but you are a little too caught up in other affairs in your life right now to go ahead and, like, say, send that email or put in that request. Or change banks, etc. Because we know that doing those things does require some energy and does require some execution. So the sense that I'm getting is that while you have some financial plans in place, I think that this is not the time where you're going to feel quite ready to execute yet. So finances might take a bit of a pause in that regard. But it looks to be like that's more focused on the decision making as opposed to like the actual flow of finances this month. For some of you, I also feel like if you are in a couple, that your finances this month might be an area of disagreement. Like there might be a little bit of butting heads if you guys are in a situation where your finances are tied with your significant other. So next we're going to see, Spirit, what does career look like for my Pisces this month? What does career look like for my Pisces? And career doesn't have to be your job. It can also be your schoolwork or your studies or your major hobbies. Just anything that you would consider to be relevant within your long-term work goals. So here we have Temperance in reverse. I get the sense that some of you guys are feeling a little stuck or a little stale in whatever you consider to be in your career house this month, Pisces. I feel like some of you guys are really craving something new. For example, a new kind of experience in your career, whether that might be a career change or just a job change, or if you wish that there is a change in personnel, something like that, where you guys are really craving a new change of pace and a new experience. I think that for some of you guys, there is also a sense of some tensions boiling over. I heard at work, but this again could also be in other environments where you might have had some tension with a coworker or someone in your environment that seems to be kind of boiling over this month. So that's definitely something to be aware of, but that's what I'm seeing in your career house this month. This last placement is really optional and up to you, but I decided that I would have an optional place for what your romance is looking like this month. Spirit, what is Pisces romance looking like this month? We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. Yes, I definitely feel like some of your emotions this month might be kind of getting in the way of romance being as smooth in October as well. I think that you guys are going to be feeling a bit of confusion over some of your feelings and specifically what you want in romance. It's going to be quite cloudy as you're handling some of these other matters internally. So this might be a good month for you to pause and take a rest in romantic matters for when you're feeling more clear, as it might be something that ends up making you feel overwhelmed just because there's so much going on. I definitely also see some synchronicities here where even if it doesn't seem like it, I think that there's going to be different parts of your life that are in connection with each other to move towards a more desirable future for you, Pisces. For example, I feel like there might be some sense of like, why am I going through this month, or none of this makes any sense. And I think that there is a reassurance here that even if things get to be a little bit chaotic, that try to at least keep in the back of your mind that a lot of these things are happening for you and not to you, and that strangely enough, some of these things are happening exactly as they should, so to speak. I think that there's a message here of like A leads to B, leads to C, leads to D, etc. Like everything is happening exactly according to plan, so to speak. I think that's the messages that we have for the general energy of October. Now we are going to move into October advice. We're going to do some FAQs, kind of like some larger highlights for your advice. Then we're going to just open the floor and allow Spirit to give you any messages that they feel you need to hear to make the most of October. So we're going to start here. Spirit, what is a challenge that my Pisces are experiencing this month? Spirit, what is a challenge that my Pisces are experiencing this month? Oops, we have the Five of Cups in reverse. Yes, so I feel like this is kind of a confirmation that some of you guys might feel just a little bit more hopeless than usual this month, probably due to all of the different things and emotions you'll probably be processing. There is a sense of disappointment here for maybe your expectations on how things are supposed to turn out this month. I think that there is also a potential for some of you guys to unfortunately have some friends or loved ones kind of leave your immediate circle of experience this month, and you're feeling pretty disappointed about it, even if you know on the larger level that some people leave their lives for the better for the both of you, and that you guys just have separate paths right now. I think that there is a sense here that some of you guys need to just take a pause and properly grieve someone leaving your life. I don't think that anyone's going to like die this month. I realize I was using a lot of death related terminology, but I kind of mean that even if someone leaves their life, like say for example we break up with a friend, and even if we made that decision ourselves and we know that it was for a better, say if we broke up with a toxic friend, there is still a level of needing to process that and needing to properly grieve the departure of a person in your life, especially if you felt close to them at some point. So I think a potential challenge for you this month, Pisces, is to try not to be too caught up in your disappointment of this person leaving. And when it feels hard, just allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, while also mentally remembering that everything is for the better. And sometimes when someone leaves our life, it also creates room for someone who is more compatible with us to enter our lives, and that everything is going to be okay. And sometimes these things turn out for the better. So that seems to be a challenge that might come up this month, Pisces. Spirit, what is something my Pisces should be mindful of this month? Something my Pisces should be mindful of this month. Ooh, I feel like this one wants to come out. We have the Seven of Cups. So I definitely feel like this is echoing the Seven of Cups that came up earlier. And I think the message here is to be mindful of I'm hearing like decision paralysis. Like for some of you guys, there might be a lot of different options for where you want to go next, or as I mentioned earlier, places you're looking for potential inspiration. That you kind of just get caught up in the amount of options and you never make any real decision. I think that there is a message here to be mindful of getting too caught up in that, and remember that oftentimes answers that we're looking for are internal, and external elements are just tools that allow us to easier draw these answers out of us ourselves. But anything that you really need, Pisces, like everything that you truly need is already inside of you. And I know that can sound a little wishy-washy, but I really believe that. And sometimes we do need help from things externally to draw these things out of us. But remember that like any sense of empowerment you need, for example, is already inside of you, and you don't need to rely on other things to make you that way. I'm kind of struggling with my words here, and I feel like that has to do with the confusion you guys might feel in some of this choice paralysis, or while you're trying to process your emotions this month. But I think what I'm trying to say is sometimes we think that taking from something else or something external is what gives us something or makes us a certain way. For example, oftentimes we drink to feel a certain way, or specifically to feel good. And while there's nothing wrong with that, technically we could feel that way. Like we have the potential to feel that way without the help of alcohol or something external or consuming something to make us that way. I think that it's easy to do that, but I think that there's a message here to remember that it's not necessary for you guys to pull from or consume from something external to pull out a trait of yourself. Just remember that all of the important things that you need are already inside of you, so you don't need to get too caught up in your options this month, because ultimately the smaller choices that you're making are not the important thing. So finally, for this FAQ section, we are going to pull a card for what Spirit advises you to do for self-care this month. Spirit, what should my Pisces do for self-care this month? We have 49, spend time with friends. Yes, so I definitely get the sense that for many of you guys, the catalyst for some of your soul lessons this month are coming from friend groups or people that you spend a lot of time around. And I think that for many of you guys, a toxic friend or a friendship that was not serving you is going to be absolving this month. And I think that one thing you can do to cope with that and to kind of lift your spirits is to really focus and spend time with people who do serve your greatest good, for those people who you do want in your circle, and everything that you still have. Definitely with this challenge of the Five of Cups in reverse here, I think that there is a strong message to not get too hung up on things that you might lose, or more accurately, just things that might leave your life this month. And focus on all of the blessings that you do have and that are continuing to come to you. I think that if you spend time with people that you love and also can fight on them and lean on them for support, you're going to have a lot better of an October, so to speak. So finally, we are going to move into opening the floor to messages and advice from Spirit on how you can make the most of October. Spirit, what advice do you have for my Pisces on making the most of October? what's definitely jumping out. We have the Four of Wands in reverse. Already off the bat, I think there is another message here to not get too caught up in any unpleasant experiences that happen, and to really count your blessings and make room for things that do bring you joy and you are happy about. In particular, really focus on celebrating your small victories this month, Pisces. We also have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. I think there's another message here to not get caught up on the small details and the little mishaps that might be out of place, and try to focus on the bigger picture. I think that there might be a lot of small inconveniences that appear in front of you, maybe as a result or as a symptom of some of the larger events happening this month, Pisces. And I think that those little things can really irk you and really get under your skin and kind of just make it feel like nothing's going right, so to speak. And I think that there's a real message here to try and change your perspective on that, and to again remember that many things happen for us and not to us, and that there is still plenty of things to bring you joy and plenty of things to be happy about and opportunities to have fun in October. We have, again, the Seven of Cups. I think it is an emphasis on what I was just talking about choice paralysis. And to not get caught up on making the wrong choice, because ultimately, on the larger scheme of things, honestly, you can't make the wrong choice. If I elaborate that on that a little bit, and I don't want to like push my beliefs on anyone here, so I won't get too far into it, but ultimately, many of us have a soul plan that we kind of set out for ourselves before we entered this life, and we have to forget it before we get here. I know it sounds kind of productive, right? I totally understand that too, but many of us have to forget it before we get here so that things happen as they were meant to, with a clean slate. Because ultimately we are all just trying to learn and grow as people, and you can't learn things properly if you already had like preconceived beliefs and knowledge and paradigms. So that's kind of why we have to start from a blank slate. So all that to say that ultimately you really can't make the wrong choice. And I think that there's also an additional message here to trust yourself in whatever choice you want to make, Pisces. And finally, we have again the Five of Cups coming up in reverse. Just one more emphasis on really try to count your blessings this month, Pisces. I think that there's might be some things that challenge you and irk you, but you really do have so many things that are also going for you, and so many things to be grateful for if you choose to put in the work to focus on them. And I say that because I know that it is hard work sometimes to count the blessings in our life. Like, we all get frustrated and we all get overwhelmed. That's completely normal. So I think that you definitely can do it though. Like, definitely you have the power and the capability to put in the work to focus on the good things regardless. So that being said, we are going to finish up with some encouraging messages from Spirit. Spirit, what encouraging messages would you like Pisces to bring with them into October? We have joy is the ultimate creator. Remember to make room for things that really bring you joy and really make you happy, because for many of us, you'll find that if you look for them, there's a lot of little things that can bring us some real happiness on a regular basis and help us make it through the day, so to speak. My faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. Exactly. It is definitely a choice that we make all the time on the way that we want to see things. I think it's important for us to feel the emotions that come up as a result of some of our experiences, of course, but I think once we move through that initial wave of like emotional response, it's important for us to make a choice to see things in a positive light and to have faith in ourselves and that everything is going to work out for the best. When I lean towards love, I am led. I think that not only connects to this faith card, but I think there's also a message here to remember to be gentle and loving with yourself, Pisces, this month. And when you choose to see things through love and you choose to be loving with yourself, you'll find that the answers come a lot more easily. And finally, when I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. Exactly what I was saying. It's all a matter of perspective, and it's definitely a choice for us to choose to experience the minimal amount of pain and only the amount of suffering that we absolutely need to learn something, and not any more than that. Because why should you? Suffering is definitely necessary for us to learn some lessons, but I believe me, Spirit does not want you to feel any more suffering than is absolutely necessary. And part of that is within our power to choose to see things in not just a positive light, but choose to see the truth of things. And that can definitely be hard, but I think there's definitely a message here that if you have faith and really choose to see things through the lens of love, then it becomes a lot easier for us to manage to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave your reading here, Pisces. Thank you so much for the opportunity to read for you. And thank you for being my last prediction for October this month. I really appreciate you being here. And if you feel called to, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. It is so helpful to me. And I wish you the best of Octobers. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.